Hello class, today we're going to be learning about data interpretation, specifically about abuses of statistics by Miss Maria Velasquez. TEKS is going to be grade level 5. Introduction will be that primary focal areas in grade 5 are solving problems involving all four operations with positive rational numbers, determining and generating formulas and solutions to expressions, and extending measurement to area and volume. These focal areas are supported throughout the mathematical strands of numbers and operations, algebraic reasoning, geometry, and measurement, and data analysis. In data analysis, students will represent and interpret data. A summary of this would be students, you guys will be able to understand data, be able to interpret it, and making sense of data and statistics, and understand what's being shown to you. So that's why it's important to make sure to see what's going on. So the concept that we're going to be talking about today is going to be the misuse of bar graphs and numbers representing data. So just a quick review. Remember that when you look at data, you're going to have to formulate questions. So you can either do this before you create a data, or you can, when you're looking at it, you're going to be like, what's going on here? When you're creating data, you're going to collect the data, and then you're going to analyze what you found. After that, you should be able to interpret the results and, get a little conclusion out of it. However, sometimes whenever there's data, companies can exaggerate information that is advertised, meaning they want to make it seem like they're actually selling this much of product, or they want to make it seem like they're doing better than what they really are by misusing data or graphs. Graphs and numerical data can easily be misinterpreted. So when you look at a graph or anything, an advertisement that's trying to represent any kind of numbers or averages of whatever they're trying to explain, just looking at a bar graph, if you see like a part that's longer than the other one, you're just going to automatically assume that this part is doing better than the other one. So we're going to be looking at examples and seeing how you can really interpret what's going on in graphs and numbers. So target information can be exaggerated and misleading on purpose. As mentioned before, companies advertise, things that they really want the public to see. So, and they can, maneuver or move numbers around to make it seem like things are going in their favor. So an explanation would be that you will see these certain things. You should be able to always see these things on your graphs or number data. So if you don't see any of the following, then there might be something that's trying to mislead the information that's being put on, these graphics or graphs. So number 1, it should always have a title. Number 2, it should always be labeled on both axes, the Y and the X, if it's a graph, or a bar chart, or on all sections of a pie chart. Sources of the data. So, you want to know where is this coming from. Could it be a survey? Could it be, actual statistics, etc. And there always has to be a key to a pictograph. So we talked about this in the past. Pictographs have pictures, and it'll tell you, oh, well, this apple represents 2 people, or this muffin represents 5 companies, etc. Uniform size of symbols in a pictograph. Scale, does it start with 0, or does it break down? So we'll take a look at examples and see how data can not start at 0, because all our data that we usually have seen in class start at 0, right? So we're going to be able to see some kind of advertisements or things that don't start with 0. And number 7, last, there should be a scale. Are numbers equally spaced, or are they, maybe there's a huge gap, etc. So the first example that we can look at here, this will be, the correct graph, basically showing the correct information. When we look at this, we see numbers of girls trying out for basketball. numbers of growth. So we have, starting at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. So we have Wilson has a little bit over 60, right? We see that Taft has, below 60. And we see that Lincoln is about at 50. So, we kind of see, when we look at this, we can get that every number of girls trying out for basketball of schools, they're pretty much similar, right? They're not like there's not a huge difference. But when we look at this graph, as we mentioned before, the number start 0. On this one, it does not start 0, as opposed to this one. So you see the little bracket. Then you see that Wilson is over 60, as it is here. On Taft, we see that it's like, like at 58. So we're like already feeling like, oh, whoa, there's a huge gap there. But really, there's really not. They're pretty, if you average them out, they're probably going to be like, a really close number. And then you see Lincoln is all the way at the bottom. So as you can see here, if this is advertised, you'll feel like, Lincoln is way below the people that are trying out. But in reality, if you don't, pay attention to the numbers, you won't be able to see they're actually pretty similar. So we're going to go ahead and look at a different example. The next example will be the number of graduates of community college. So we have our number. Again, we do see this bracket, but we do see that there is, a leap. So we're looking at the years 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. So we see that in 2011, there was actually 140 number of graduates. As in 2012, we see like there's a huge, improvement. And then in 2013, we continue to see the improvement. 2014 was the highest of students, the number of students. And in 2015, it kind of dropped again. So, we kind of do get the big picture here. The numbers are pretty close to each other. However, this little drop can actually affect the community college. So they wouldn't want to advertise that their latest year students have not, the number of graduates have declined. So I'm pretty sure they don't want nobody to see this, especially if they're trying to like make people try to go to their college. So we're going to look at this one that's probably going to want to be advertised by them. So as soon as we see this picture, we see that the numbers are pretty even. So it's not a huge, difference. So the numbers have been constant, that's good. So, that will make you want to go to this college. However, if you pay close attention, you see the brackets, the numbers do not start at 0. And you see that 150 is here. It's a little bit under 200. Still a little bit close to the 200, maybe a little bit closer to 250, and then you see a little bit closer to 250, and then you see this little small, decline. However, in reality, the decline was a lot. So that can be a way that this graph, or I'm sorry, this number, the numerical data can be misleading. So in conclusion, we have understand how data can be misleading, and it can distort. If you don't pay attention, your information can be distorted, and if they want to exaggerate certain pieces, you can feel like you can pretty much not get the whole picture of what's really going on. So you got to be very careful when you look at data. So in conclusion, we have a quote: "There are 3 types of lies, Damn Lies and Statistics" by Benjamin Disraeli. Thank you for your time. We'll see you later.